Welcome back, everyone. Looks like Blizz updated the announcement for another hour of maintenance. So, I'll be jumping into a hardcore tune that I started a while back, and I'll pick back up and hopefully get back in touch with the game again. Very hard combat, death penalty, hardcore. Pretty standard stuff. I did custom because I want some enjoyment with the game and chose to keep my map active. One of the things I enjoy is actually marking the map, which probably sounds funny. But sure, it's not truly as hard as it could be. It's not like extreme hard mode. It's hardcore enough. Let's see if I can remember how to do this. Oh yeah. Okay. What was I doing is the question. Oh yeah, okay. So I had set up a nice little area here. A double trench. I had set up a channeling spot here. It's a little messed up right now. I ended up deciding to take that away for the time being. I've only completed the first boss just to get the antlers, which I held off on doing that for quite some time. Got the, the food army, if you will, hit quite a few times before changing over. I've picked up a spot that's near swamp, and haven't started hitting any crypts yet. The reality is I'm choosing whether I want to jump into even touch bronze, even though I'm hardcore. I think about just skipping it, because the reality is if I max out my troll, it's not too far off the base for bronze anyways. But then I'm parked, I think most people probably wouldn't have parked this close. And it's true, I am parked a little closer than I may have liked or wanted to initially. But I started doing it, and then I made a bunch of changes, and next thing you know it, I am, X much closer to the Black Forest. The original reason for this position was for some RP, positioning. Given the water's right there, we have our a little bit of food source, and I apparently forgotten how to jump effectively. Holy cow! I have made those steep, which is the point, right? But anyhow, apparently, getting out of this my own trench, he is not jumping at all. He doesn't jump with my shift key down. Oh. Did I just find an issue? Yeah, there's no jump. Oh no! Okay, well that's just not gonna work. Yeah, there's no jump. Well, I'm sure glad I tested this out right now. So, with that in mind, getting across this now has just kind of made, that's not good. Life is a little bit difficult here. I am actually using a laptop as well, so I should, yeah, I can test that. Yeah, shift. So my keyboard, my wired keyboard, in Valheim specifically, cannot run and jump. Well, I wasn't planning on messing around with this kind of stuff right now. Oh my goodness, that's not... yeah, well, it has to be keyboard related, right? So... okay, well, what we could do, I suppose... don't think caps is used for anything. It kind of messed my brain up a bit, I imagine. Well, yeah, it's a little bit of a stretch. Let's see what happens if I just reset it back. It was not left shift before, it was just shift. Okay. No. Still cannot. Can jump regular. Okay. We have to ditch the shift key. Which means I will have to train my finger to go caps. That is so weird. Yeah, that's gonna be rough. I mean, I don't think I could do 2 keys. No, you can't. You can't have 2. I mean, it'd be nice. I could at least do shift, and then if I need to shift or jump. How about Q? Q's auto run. Figure out a key. I don't ever use auto run anyways, so if I was to do Q and as my run. Okay. Let's test that out. No. Auto run. Do shift instead. Just Did they change that? Am I missing something here? There's no way. No, I didn't change it because I was able to do it on my laptop. I have it on Q. So is my keyboard. Something in the game does not like this keyboard. That is unfunctional. Fortunate here. This is actually just it's just a Dell wired keyboard that probably came with one of my servers. And what is very interesting is that it doesn't appear that it actually matters which key it is. Let's go back to caps. Change this back to Q, not that I ever use it. So, okay. So, the run and jump does work with the caps. It does not work with Q for whatever reason. It does not work with shift. Well, at least caps is feasible for my fingers. What I'd like to do is see if this is something that's come up before. Of course, it says to do the obvious, which I suppose. Reset my key bindings. No. Let's see. I am reading about potential maybe cache issues. Someone also reported this. I mean, there's lots of people that have reported this issue. So, if I go like this. Apparently, I could. Some people are having a continued issue with running and switching weapons. Check for mods. I don't use any mods. And most people are like, it must be keyboard related. That just, I mean, the fact that it's only in this game. That is a really good point. Sticky keys. I don't have any specific function type mappings on this keyboard. Despite the fact that, I mean, the keys work in any other sense, other games, you know, whatnot, everybody said, I just use a different keyboard. Okay, well, that is very strange. I will probably look into it more. For now, I will have to just train myself for caps. because it works. Okay. Alright. Well, if you're just tuning in, still waiting on Blizz for the WoW servers. They upped it another hour, which is always awesome, but you know, when do they not run into issues? I think would be the, the appropriate question and answer. Never. Excuse me. There's always something. You know, I spent a good portion of time cleaning during the maintenance, and once it was time to play, voila, and they're still down. So, you know. Now, so, you know, poor planning on my part, not having jumped into this for a while, knowing exactly what it is I want to do or what I want to accomplish. I believe the last thing that I was doing was, I had chosen, frankly, to start working on collecting more troll hide, but I'm looking now going, maybe not. It sure seems like I have quite a bit stacked up here. And maybe I had just gotten it before dropping the last round. Yeah, sure looks like I can. I probably have enough. I probably have enough. Sure enough, right there. So we'll be up to upgrade level 3 on the troll gear. Sweet. Organization, as you might have noticed, is a clear problem, but I have a plan for that. It's all coming back to me now. So I have this section back here. I'll be doing a chest layout, and what you might be questioning is how this is all laid out. So I actually did a pit house, I would call it. I'm sure there's other names. Essentially, you know. Oh, that's not okay, dude. Come back to the game and already seeing a problem. When it gets old, it could push that other one out. Which is fine. I think I'll just leave it. By that, they're up. Turn sideways. Okay. So, let's do a quick tour here. Yeah. I didn't have any grand plans for this house. I wanted essentially a minimum distance for a troll to the house. I didn't actually, poor planning initially. Didn't plan out for outlying buildings or things like, you know, smithy and whatnot. Or the smelter and whatnot. These corner pieces were part of how I made sure everything was lined up, but so I don't really need them. But then again, it helps with spawning with the workbenches out here. Probably have one workbench up there, which is taking part here, and then yeah, each corner has a workbench on it. Probably pretty standard setup, but yeah, I mean, it's nothing too fancy. It has all the basic things that I might need. I have 3 entries, so it's double doors in the front main, and then I have a back door essentially on each side. I do have an access to the pit drop for my spawners, or my breeding station, whatever you want to call it. I did manage to get 2 star boars, which was a big deal for me. It was relatively quick when I found this this area here. And as you can see, I'm an avid marker. MR, mushroom, RB. Yeah, let's see what else we got here. I'm sure BB's in there somewhere. BB for blueberry. Raspberry. Sorry, RB's raspberry. I even mark the wood buildings. Sometimes I'll set up a little, temp quick, like I need this one quick stop, for example. So at very least I know that there's probably a bed, a fire there. This was my original. So this is the starter island. It had a big enough snow mountain on it that so there was wolves generating. Some of the small ones don't always have them, from what I've found. But and then I pulled one at a time, a couple wolves, and then started breeding. So my wolves are actually no star. It's just easier that way to start rolling in the hide and the meat. And then, starting out, early on in the game, wolf meat's pretty awesome. I think in the beginning I started off with a honey, wolf meat and probably deer meat combo pretty quick, which was super helpful. Having I have the enemy combat up max. I have, as you imagine, hardcore, so one-time deal. Die, I die. Valheim's hardcore is different. I do not have permadeath on. Meaning you basically lose the entire map. I would have to confirm that information, but I actually somehow didn't recall or didn't see permadeath on there. Maybe it's a new feature, or maybe just didn't see it the first time, but I don't think I would have bothered with it. But essentially what it means is in hardcore, this mode, you die, you lose everything that's on you. And more importantly, your character is dead, you get reset back to 0 on all your skills. So, it's not... it's not fun. It's always fun. It's nothing, to get set back to lose your character 100% or your map. Losing all those skills, it takes time. You lose time. That's basically what I'm getting. The point I'm trying to make is that time is the most valuable thing we have, and you lose it with a permadeath. Here, I'm not losing my stuff that gets dropped. That's in my chest. So maybe I'll have a couple extra things here. I'm probably keeping. This is not my first building, so. But yeah, I have a deer hide there. It would be something rather than starting off with absolutely nothing from the get-go. But more than likely, if I died, I'd be running around with. Be running around with all this stuff. This is, my fine bow being maxed out. That would hurt. But now I probably have some, copper and whatnot, bronze laying around. I could make another axe to go and farm more fine wood. Which versus rolling trees. I'm sure everyone's familiar with that, idea or function as of now. If you're not, then basically you take trees that you can cut down, which would be the starter trees. Forgive me, forgetting the name. You chop them down and, hope that you can knock down a fine wood tree. Eventually you will. Either by chopping trees down and having them hit it, or the best part, rolling. You roll the logs and smack down the trees over and over and over, and then you roll those logs into each other, and then you get your fine wood. You can do that pretty I mean, you could do it pretty much from the get-go if you want to. But the core wood, you get there's sometimes a little fire pit in building setups. You can get, I like to say it's 4 pieces. So each campfire has 2 buildings, and there's 2 core wood in each building. You could potentially find a couple of those, but more than likely, you're going to be going into the dark forest extremely early on, hoping that you don't stir up any trouble, just to get enough core wood to do it. And once you get the fine wood bow, the difference between these two is substantial. And looking at stat-wise, let's see, 22. Let's say you didn't upgrade this just because you're starting out, you don't want to spend the resources. 22 to 32, significant bump. Let's see here, and then the firewood bow has that knockback. It may seem like, oh, that's a small number, whatever, but it makes the difference. More cause for them to stagger, whatnot. So early on, it's one of the first things that I personally start kicking at, and on top of that, I always prioritize making the flint spear. Maybe you make 2 of them if you're filling up to it, because they are actually throwable weapons, and if you're looking at range, you could crouch, throw your spear at a deer, or anything, but keep 2 of them on you. If you don't have a bow yet, or you don't want to spend the resources on a bow, you can make 2 of those and just consistently throw 1 spear, use the other one for melee, and back and forth. You just run over there and pick up your spear and keep a spot open. It's raining, of course. Keep a spot open for your spear to get back in on your top bar here. Get away from the portal here. It's a bit loud, I'm sure. Haven't done any tuning on this game for streaming, so forgive me if it sounds a little out of whack. Haven't played this at least in the sense of exploring new content in years. I have made characters and gone through to roughly the same area. Maybe I did some exploring, but always ended up in the troll gear and finding myself in troll gear running around the plains, which is pretty silly. But if you play this game actively and play it enough, at least you know what to watch out for. Mosquitoes being, as far as I'm concerned, as always, the biggest troublemaker. They make a bit of noise, but if you're playing, let's say you're playing with the sound low or whatnot, it may be just best to avoid the plains altogether, but can't say I haven't done that in a non-hardcore area. A little too close to the plains or going through a portion of it, and the mosquitoes are just chilling right there waiting for you to even touch it. You can kick them. They're low health. I would assume they probably would still die with the kick in the highest combat mode for enemies setting, but I haven't tested it. I wouldn't even dare test it with my hardcore tune. I used to, used to make the ad gear. Right, is the name. Bronze ad gear. Like right away. I haven't bothered. I used to always skip the bronze play. It just the cost And of course, what feels like a lot more work is the copper feels like a lot of work to me, which I don't mind doing. In fact, it's not as I still enjoy doing it. But yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of new content that I haven't checked out. That being even, oh, what's this? This last update here. Call to Arms. Let me see how far back I even. There's been so many updates since I played Bog Witch. As far as like big major updates, my main character that's not hardcore, well, this will show you how long it's been. I had completed up to the latest content was before Mistlands. So, in fact, my better half and I ran around, you know, so we were maxed out in our planes gear, and I would spin up a new dedicated server for the new maps, planning on checking the content out, and just never did. Frankly, because my better half and I were playing another game. I was like, oh, well, maybe we should check this out. You know, we only have so much time. But we're probably still playing Ark Survivor Evolved. I'm well over 4K hours. I'm certain at this point. My own dedicated servers and they're all connected. I'm forgetting the term right now, but essentially, I had it set up to where I could teleport between the maps and keep my tune, keep my gear, all all the dinos and whatnot. But in any case, obviously I haven't done anything since we logged in here. The reality is Liz may have the game up sooner. There is already an update for Hardcore, or at very least class, but technically classic. So I'm gonna go ahead and kick that update off. This is a 31, 32 meg update. Nothing too crazy there. Banner's still up. But since the update has been published, I'm thinking, this chit chat session basically is all this has been. Let's go ahead and head out and launch. And see what happens. Maybe they're up early. Nope. Still offline, which is basically, what I expected slightly. 23 minutes proposed time for them servers to be back online. So not enough to really justify, getting back into it. But yeah, so I have essentially been my favorite game type is survival, without a doubt. I love building things, surviving. So if it's a crafter, a builder, at the same time, I'm in it. I also found that this might be just natural, but if I can control it, like if I could host it myself, gives me more uptime to play, whatnot. So any game that I buy, typically it has dedicated server environments. It you know, I keep things. I generally would keep it vanilla or default to what a non-hosted server would be. Matching what I would be if I was actually online with other people. Um, for a while there, actually had 20 plus people on a Minecraft server, which is maybe not a lot, but it was all family. Uh, and then again, with Ark Survival Evolved, having every map running and available to transport between was one of the biggest accomplishments, I think. Not necessarily technical. It wasn't that technically challenging, um, but I have multiple physical servers, so I had the resources to run it or run multiple types of games. So I would have Valheim, Ark, ASE, uh, Conan, countless other games, uh, all dedicated. And it's not just that, maybe um, not just necessarily survival. Conan's not necessarily just like survival, right? I mean, but there's actually, I believe they may have added a hardcore mode to it. I think it's a permadeath, so I may have to check that out too. It's kind of my backup to when I'm wanting to do some gaming. And Blizz is down. I was honestly really hoping that at least one, right? Like even retail, if it was up, I could get in a little early and maybe do some auction stuff while we wait for hardcore. Uh, they are down to 20 minutes, Blizz, from their extended time, mind you. It was 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Pacific time originally, extended by an hour. I haven't actually taken the time to read, if they even provided an update as to why. But yeah, I am anxious to jump back in, and maybe it's maybe not the best idea to jump straight into hardcore right after server launch. Maybe, um, but I'm anxious to do so. So, while we're waiting, 20 minutes. What do you think we could do in 20 minutes? I'm thinking I shouldn't have exited. I shouldn't have exited Valheim. Um, I'll jump in here and yeah, see, let me actually show you the modifiers here. Combat all the way up, death penalty, hardcore. You lose all carried items, scales permanently. Resource rate, I left it normal. I thought about putting it all the way down to like nothing. Um, I put raid events, the raid rate at max, so I do get attacked very often. I was actually surprised that we didn't have something while I was just doing a little chat session earlier. I left the portals the same. Um, obviously not in the boss area, but whatnot. A common challenge people do is no map. Personally, I want to still enjoy the game, and as I was saying earlier, I actually enjoy marking something I find. Like, ooh, I found a berry bush. I'm gonna mark it. Well, most people say, well, that helps you, X, Y, Z. Yeah, it does, but I still want to be challenged, so I'm combat heavy, death penalty, raids, and then still enjoy it by do some marking and whatnot. But yeah, let's get back in here. It's probably still raining. fine state. Yeah. Assume so. Wait for my rested buff to come back. Should be at 7. Oh, okay, that's right. I have downstairs, I have my little cooking area here. So I have to be within range of that. So this side of my building. So I think it's probably a staircase. Test it out. Yeah, somewhere in here. Yeah. The bonfire reaches this far, so I get the crossover that I need. Yeah. Alright, well. Have I finished? Fairly certain I was starting to mark. Or why that is, it has an X on it. I don't know what it was. Oops. Oh well. No biggie. I think that may have been a village marker. One of the swamp villages. Which will be one of my next tasks. They will hit like a truck. So it's extremely risky. But I wouldn't mind setting up a farm for the spawner as well. Over there. Oh yeah, I'm definitely still. My fingers really want to hit that shift key. But I better not go running into the swamp, having not played this in so long right away. I have far less regular arrows than I normally would. My finger does not naturally want to hit the caps. Which kind of sucks. Wow. Oh, best. You want some of this? Practicing my toss off the entire time, basically. Whoa. That was a bad throw. But you can see, I'm next to water. I could do some fishing. I could set up a little area here if I wanted to, a safety area, if you will. That's far enough away from the Black Forest and far enough away from the swamp to, you know, get a little fishing taken care of, get some goods. But yeah, I'm definitely rusty here. Yeah, it doesn't help that I'm all messed up with the shift key. This area, it's ringing a bell now. I thought this area had an extensive amount of locations where it just seemed like a congested, not even, it doesn't hurt my feelings, but a congested amount of boars in comparison to some of the other locations that I considered building at. It's not like I need this meat, right? I have a boar farm set up. Gotta get my bearings here again. I used to essentially just snipe everything with the I was so far off with the spear. Now I'd show you, but you know, my luck, I'd do something really stupid. But these guys, despite the fact that, yeah, you're like, oh, these are just the starter guys. With the combat being so heavy at max enemy attack, the little guys even do have pretty good punch. Oh, I thought that fish was gonna get stuck on the shore, dang it. Come back. You look tasty. Ooh, lucky. Uh-oh, about ready to pull off a hardcore classic mode. Running out of bag space. As the usual. I know, you're all enjoying watching me just flow around because I really want to get back into hardcore classic. Wow, you're a little anxious. I haven't set up a drawbridge yet. Probably do that out front here. Have some sort of layout here. In fact, servers are supposed to be up in 10 minutes. Get up, buddy. I could probably do a little setup. I call this my blind click. I don't even feel like looking to see what's in the chest. If it looks remotely, there might be room for something. I'll just dump it in there. I'm shocked I don't have feathers somewhere here. One of these days I'll do some organization. There they are. Figures. Should have figured they were next to something I can make arrows at. Yeah, so I mean I could do a that's probably more than enough. I kept this tree here, these trees here. Really like how they look. Of course they do sort of get in the way. So roughly, I don't know. Doesn't have to be perfect. I would call that relatively straight. So just oh, that's right. This angle, the build, I did not square up with the world. So I have to do it manually. Which is not a big deal. I think that's high enough. Don't want to trip on the ledge, an edge up there. That might be good. I don't have to, you know, you'll get bumped, essentially. Technically, all of this stuff could just get destroyed if they really, really wanted to, right? Which is not that big a deal, really. 5-inch range. It's starting to go dark though, looks like. I think that's touching. Doesn't hurt my feelings to add another one there. So, the idea here is something that they can't cross. Now, there's different configurations. I'm sure there's probably even newer ones. I suppose I should ground this. Or not. It's pretty far down there. Oh, I'm going to have to... Oh, so I was like, I changed my key. I forgot how, I forgot to change it already. Shoot. Hate that. I don't know which keys do what now. Okay. Now. It's already dark. How? This is probably too low. Oh, yeah, oh, that's right. I have that ledge there. That's gonna mess me up over there too. So this part here, because there's no pit, I probably would have to sit down, I imagine, to get that in there. But I could use a regular door, more than likely. It's getting harder to see what I'm doing here. Might be too far to the ground. It's definitely getting harder to see what I'm up to here. Now, I don't believe those guys will try to go up that. Could be wrong. But if they try, all you really have to do is just open some doors, right? But since I have a trench, second trench, I can leave this open. And, of course I don't have a torch on me. I can leave this open and give it another try. Test-wise with bad guys, but, literally, see, I can feel myself squinting. Okay, that's just too dark. Food's almost down. Let's go take a nap. And I think that might be a good spot to leave it.